Hey guys, what is up? I have come back from watching Marvel's Wonder Man, and I want to give you my quick thoughts and breakdown of this series, my spoiler review as we're going through it. But yeah, let's jump into it. I really enjoyed this show, to be honest. This is probably like one of my favorite Marvel properties that has come out like post Endgame, to be honest. I really think this is like one of the greater like projects we've got out of the MCU recently. This is definitely in like my top five for like the MCU Disney Plus shows. Like I think this is definitely up there with like WandaVision and like Loki and that. But yeah, I'm just really glad that this show came out finally. So I think it has been on the back burner for a while, to be honest, because I think they filmed this a long time ago. But yeah, having a producer like Destin Daniel Cretton on this, who obviously directed Shang-Chi and is obviously going to be directing the new Spider-Man Brand New Day this year, which is coming out later this year. This is just another hit. Like I absolutely loved the work he did on Shang-Chi. I love that film. That's definitely one of my favourite films in the multiverse saga, I must admit. But yeah, and this is just another banger, this show, to be honest. I'm just such a fan. But yeah, that's like my non-spoiler sort of thoughts basically on the show. Um, let's get into some spoilers. So obviously we meet Simon Williams in this show. Honestly, his character is very different from the comics. So because in the comics he's like a already established like famous actor in the comics, I believe. I know there's a couple different origins for him in the comics um where he was actually like a nemesis to like Tony Stark, like a company tech billionaire or whatever that his family had. But there's other origins where it's more connected to the Hollywood side, where he's already a famous actor acting in this career basically while being a superhero. But yeah, in this show though, he's basically an actor that's struggling to find work basically, and I love the dynamic and love that side of the story. I really appreciate the change of that, to be honest. And it just gives me sort of vibes of the studio as well, this show, to be honest. Um, but yeah, and we get, obviously he gets to reunite with another MCU actor, basically, that has been in the MCU for a long time now, and that's Trevor Slattery playing Kingsley himself, the fake Mandarin. And we do get his story of what he's been up to since the events of Shang-Chi. He obviously comes back from China, I think it was, in that film, back to the States, come back to Los Angeles to try and become an actor again. He does get arrested by Damage Control. So Damage Control are basically like the main villain in this show. Does seem like they're going to be the main villain in a lot of stuff recently, like in Miss Marvel and Spider-Man No Way Home as well. And I think they will be returning in the new Spider-Man Brand New Day too, from the sound of it. But yeah, we get the return of Damage Control. They obviously give Trevor Slattery a deal to spy on Simon Williams, basically, to get some information because they believe that he's got powers, but they can't prove it. And basically, they need more prisoners for the Black Box, which is the prison we saw in She-Hulk and Miss Marvel as well, because that's where they kept Abomination and a few other people. But yeah, but we do get the reveal that apparently that prison is half empty, and they're probably going to do some budget cuts on Damage Control, it seems like, if they don't get more prisoners in there. So yeah, so he makes a deal to go spy on Simon. They obviously bond, basically, because they're obviously both actors. And then he tried to get on this film, which is obviously a remake from the 80s, which is called Wonder Man, obviously. It's in the name. But, yeah. And they do have some unique adventures in this show. Like, I appreciate that this wasn't like a full, like, action-packed, like, cameo-centric, like, story. Like, we didn't really see much action in this, and I really appreciate it. It was something different, to be honest. That's what I liked about this show. It's very unique to what we've got with recent MCU shows. So, yeah, I was quite impressed with this, to be honest. I must admit, I don't think there was one episode I did not enjoy, to be honest. Like, yeah, there's not a lot, like, negative I can really think of, to be honest, for this show. But yeah, obviously they both audition for Wonder Man. It's been directed by Von Govak, I think his name is, the director. Yeah. So they obviously both audition. They get the roles in the film. Simon's obviously Wonder Man, and then obviously Trevor's Barnaby. But yeah, we do get hints of Trevor finding out his powers as well in this show, and do get hints of Simon's past as well, with his dad, his mum, and his brother. Now we do find out that his dad died years ago, apparently. We do get a couple flashbacks with the dad. And we do get some scenes like at the party, and I think it was the third episode, I think, where they go to like the birthday party for Simon's mum. We do meet his mum and his brother. So the brother is an interesting character because obviously in the comics he's the Grim Reaper, who's obviously one of Wonder Man's like main villains, nemesis, basically. They didn't really make him a villain in the show. He was a bit of an up his arse, basically. He wasn't very appreciative of Simon's beliefs, to be honest. But yeah, I wonder if they'll probably save that for maybe if they do make a season 2. God, I hope they do make a season 2, because this definitely deserves it. Maybe they'll make Simon's brother a villain in the future. Maybe he'll become the Grim Reaper in the future. That's something I would like to see. I know there was hints, like Easter eggs in WandaVision of the Grim Reaper. But yeah, I remember that character from like Earth's Mightiest Heroes Avengers cartoon, I think it was. Because I think that version, he was like serving Hydra and that, in that cartoon back in the day. But yeah, Grim Reaper is a cool character, I must admit. Hopefully they do introduce him as that character at some point, but we'll just have to wait and see. But yeah, an episode that was quite a standout for me, this one, was The Doorman. And we get a introduction to the Doorman, which is a very obscure character in the comics. I only recognise him from like a couple comics, I believe. He's not a very big character, but I really liked this episode. This is probably my favourite episode out of the whole show, to be honest. And we meet this character, and it's basically, we get a reason why actors, if they've got powers, we get a reason why they can't be in like big Hollywood projects, basically, if you've got powers. And there's basically this incident with the Doorman, who actually worked for Josh Gad in this episode, which is quite funny, who played himself, which is funny. But yeah, there was an incident with the Doorman and Josh Gad, where Josh Gad basically gets trapped in the Dark Force, which is basically the same powers as like Cloak, basically from like Cloak and Dagger. And we see how the Doorman gets his powers, where he's taking out some trash in the back alley from this club, and but there's a bin that says Roxxon that's leaking a bunch of stuff, which is interesting because we've had a few Roxxon mentions, but this is obviously tying back into Cloak and Dagger basically, which is pretty cool, to be honest. Maybe they're gonna bring Cloak and Dagger back at some point. That I would be up for that. I hope they do, because I really like Cloak and Dagger. But we'll have to wait and see. But yeah, that was probably one of my favourite episodes, basically. But yeah, other than that, we do get the reveal, obviously, where Simon does eventually find out that Trevor's been working for Damage Control, when they have the New York Times reporter come down to do interviews with both of them and get like profiles of both of them. But yeah, it doesn't really go well, and Simon does find out. He loses control and accidentally destroys the set on Wonder Man, basically, with his powers. And he thought he was going to get arrested by Damage Control, but Trevor, being Trevor, he decided to take things in his own hands, basically, and decide to take up the mantle of the Mandarin again. He put a video out online, and we get the reveal of the Ten Rings logo, and he pretends to be the Mandarin again, and takes full responsibility for the bombing at the Hollywood studio, basically. So Damage Control obviously arrest him instead, but they do know he's not behind it, obviously, but he's just taken the fall. But yeah, so he goes to that prison, basically, and obviously Simon does get to make the movie, but not with Trevor, obviously. But once the movies come out, when he's all famous, he does find a way to go and get himself inside that prison with helping this family out, basically. He gets inside the prison and does break Trevor out, because I'm not gonna lie, at this point Trevor has basically redeemed himself. I know he did make some mistakes, obviously, with the events of Iron Man 3, working with Aldrich Killian and that, basically, but he did redeem himself, like by helping out Shang-Chi and that, and then obviously helping out Simon, Wonder Man, in this show. So they obviously escape, and we see him fly out of the prison, both of them together, and that's pretty much how the show ends. There's no like end credit or anything, to be honest, which is quite interesting. I really like this show because it was under the Marvel Spotlight banner as well, and we haven't had anything like that since like Werewolf by Night, I think, and the Guardians Christmas special, I think, as well. And usually these Marvel Spotlight banners are pretty good content, to be honest. I think the new Punisher special is going to be under that banner too. That's coming out this year. But yeah, guys, that is pretty much my thoughts on the ending. We do get the reveal of the suit earlier, before he obviously gets his film out, basically. And I really dig the design of the suit. I really like the black and red, to be honest. Will that be the suit that he wears in the future? We'll have to wait and see. But yeah, we'll have to wait and see. We didn't get too much of his origin, of how Simon's got his powers. Like, is it going to be connected to Roxxon? Because obviously we got the Roxxon connection with the Doorman in that episode. But I have seen a lot of people thinking that maybe online, that maybe Marvel Studios are going to change the origin, basically, and making Simon a mutant, which could be interesting. I could get behind that, because obviously they've done it recently with Miss Marvel. They changed her from being Inhuman to a mutant, so anything's possible, really. But yeah, that is one of my like thoughts I've seen online, and I do think with how Damage Control is going with the start of like the emergence of mutants in the MCU, I do think that Damage Control will be responsible for like the anti-mutant movement in the future when we get the new X-Men reboot. They'll probably be behind making the Sentinels or getting Trask involved, to be honest. Like, I think that's where the MCU is going to be going after the Multiverse Saga. But yeah, I do wonder where we're going to see Wonder Man and Trevor next. That's the only thing, because we don't know if they're going to be in Doomsday or Secret Wars. I would love for them to be in that. I don't think they'll be in Doomsday though. They could be in Secret Wars though. We'll have to wait and see. But yeah, hopefully we do get a season 2, because I absolutely love this show. But yeah, that is pretty much all I've got to say about this show. It's probably a 9 out of 10 for me. I really enjoy this. I definitely recommend it. This is probably one of the best things that Marvel's put out for a while, to be honest. But yeah, and Destin Daniel Cretton, I can't wait to see what you do with Spider-Man Brand New Day, man. Shang-Chi's a banger, Wonder Man's a banger. Let's see what's going to happen with Spider-Man. But yeah, I want to know what you guys think of Wonder Man down below. Let me know. If you like this video, leave a like and subscribe to the channel and check out one of my other Marvel content videos. And I'll see you guys in the next one.